I remember it being like everything, like that was life. It was like basketball and making tapes.
Let my tape rock, let my tape rock, let my tape rock, let my tape rock.
I remember getting a cassette player. It was kind of a miracle. I mean, I'd had a reel-to-reel tape recorder before that, which was cool. It sounded better, but it was kind of awkward. It's kind of big and clunky.
The tape made it portable, so all of a sudden, things that you could only play, you had to be, in the car or you had to be in the house. All of a sudden, now you had this tape. You could put it in the boom box. You could put it in the ghetto blaster. You could put it in the Walkman.
When you had a cassette, you were portable. It was something you could do yourself and bring with you.
You have like all these songs on like cassette singles or taped off the radio or something, and it's like you have your little Walkman that you walk around with, and you don't want to have a bag of tapes. So you just make like a hot compilation, right? And then like when you show up at like a little party or your friend's house and you pop it in, everyone's like, yo, where'd you get all these songs, guy? Like, I need a copy of this tape.
I remember listening to the radio, listening to my favorite stations, and with my finger like right on the button, waiting to record, waiting for the DJ to stop talking.
88.1 CKLN, that was like how I used to get my mixtapes. We were just there, and you'd sit there and you wait to hear the song, and you dive for it, and you hit the record button, and you'd be like, yeah!
There was a show called the Top 10 at 10, and the Top 10 at 10 was on Oz FM, the rock of the rock being Newfoundland, right? And every night at 10 o'clock, young people all over the city would get their tapes out and put them into their players and wait for the Top 10 at 10 to come on, because that was your one chance to hear all the best songs that day.
I used to harass like DJs and ask them to play my favorite song on the radio. And after a while, they're like, you need to stop calling.
It was an art form. Like, you would wait for that song to go on.
Yeah.
You'd let it play, and you'd want to fade it just before the announcer comes on.
That's right.
And if you could get that done, it was a perfect cut of a song.
People have been cutting off announcers from like the 80s, guy.
Yeah.
This has been happening forever, right? Through music history, there are publishers who would put out a folio or a volume of published music that took from a bunch of different sources. Johann Sebastian Bach in 1722, he was in his second marriage. His first wife had died. He made for her in 722 what's called the Anna Magdalena Little Music Book. And it's by a whole bunch of different people. It's not just by him. It's a mixtape. It's a manuscript mixtape.
This is like the working man's resume. A mixtape feels working class. It feels like you're hustling. It feels like you're not entitled.
To me, it was an extension of who I was as a person, right? Because to us, the way we lived music, it was our expression of how we felt, how we were represented in the current place of society. So when you were playing, that new Ice Cube, that new NWA, it was allowing you to express not only your sentiment in relation to what the music was saying, but also the fact that you had it first.
It gave me the power to give myself a soundtrack, to constantly be accompanied by the music that I loved.
It's symptomatic of my generation and our generation is that we're no longer comfortable with the idea of people telling us what to consume and what not to consume. We will make it ourselves. And I think really that is one of the beauties of the mixtape and the mix CD is that we're not going to allow greatest hits compilations. We're not going to allow record companies to dictate what we're going to listen to. We are going to make our own thing. We're going to do it ourselves.
Let my tape rock, let my tape rock, let my tape rock, let my tape rock.